I am going to give you 100% proof that God is real.
Okay, I love it. This is what I live for. People extremely confident that in their minutes-long video, they will be able to prove something that no one has been able to prove for millennia. You know that someone with that kind of arrogance is going to be a hecking lot of fun. So take it away, smarty pants. I can't wait to start believing.
I'm going to give you scientific proof, rational proof, and even the opportunity to test this with me.
My God, man, try not to oversell it. I'm already rock hard. You can calm it down. This proof is going to be scientific, rational, and testable. Well, let's just stick a list right up here, and if any of these claims turn out to be true or false, cough cough, excuse me, we will mark them as such. Hopefully nothing embarrassing like all of them being nonsense happens. That would be really sad and funny.
So as I give you all this, some of you are going to reject it just out of personal bias.
That's fair. I mean, while I do my very damnedest to try and leave my bias out on the coffee table whenever I am assessing claims, sometimes I can't help but let my bias creep in. You see, I have a real problem with accepting really, really stupid claims. I know it's not very open-minded of me, but I just can't help it. You say something dumb, I say, hey, that's kind of stupid. And then like an arsehole, I don't immediately accept it as cold hard fact. Look, I'm working on it. Just the other day, someone said that they didn't like whiskey, and I didn't immediately yeet them into the sun for being so wrong.
Hold on, let me give you the proof.
Can't fucking wait.
The harbor seal, you know, the mammal that swims around, it's got some flippers on it, it's got some tusks, it's got some whiskers.
Seals. Your evidence is going to be or involve seals. Okay, I'll bite, you know, because it's literally my job, but I'll be honest, I can usually guess where these things are going, but in this case, well done. You have picked a subject so obtuse, I don't immediately know what the next words out of your mouth are going to be, so good job, I guess.
Jumps in the water, typically lives along the coastline, etc. The seal can jump into water and sense where a fish was 35 seconds ago.
Okay, that's actually kind of cool. The ability to tell where something was, and thus I also assume where it's likely going to be, I guess. I mean, it would suck if all it could do is know where something was and never where it actually is, with no way to even tell if it had stayed there for ages. Like how whenever I want my whiskey, I go to where it was, and somehow there's only an empty bottle there. Some handsome bastard keeps drinking all my damn whiskey.
Or when it's 200 yards away.
With mind bullets! That's telekinesis, Kyle. How about the power to move you? Sorry, I know I've made that reference before, but come on, I fucking had to there. It's like the law or something. Same thing if anyone says the word some.
That is stupendous proof that God exists.
Really? Really? The fact that assuming you are doing an accuracy, an animal can do a thing is proof that God exists. Gotta tell you, mate, doesn't sound like it. It sounds like absolutely nothing. In fact, it sounds like what you did was describe a natural phenomena and then say, therefore God. And to be honest, looking back, I probably could have guessed that's what you were going to say. I think I just hoped that you would be better. Damn it.
Now some of you are like, oh, you stupid Christian, what is wrong with you?
Stupid Christian? I don't give a shit about you being Christian. I give a shit about you being wrong. Some might say, but sick, you cover Crimsbians all the time. Sure, but I cover other religious groups too. And with all of them, I literally don't fucking care what you believe. I care what you say. There are plenty of religious people I wouldn't call stupid, because they're not. And there's plenty of atheists I will call absolute morons because they say stupid shit. Has nothing to do with anything else. Although, to be fair, the Crimsbians do seem to come up with a lot of the very silly ideas, so make of that what you will.
God exists because there's something super duper about the natural order. I mean, we can explain all this scientifically.
Yes? You say that like it's a bad response to what you just said, but I would posit that it's the only response to what you just said. I wouldn't even think agreeing with it is a valid response because it's so obviously absurd on the face of it.
Yeah, but see, it's not the science part that is the proof.
When your science isn't proof, I can only assume that you don't actually have any proof whatsoever. Science is a method of establishing facts about reality, so if you can't science a thing, you really are going to struggle to establish anything about it, really.
It's actually the application and the contrast of something different.
Wait, how would that not be scienceable? I mean, if you can take some information and then compare that information to a different set of information and come out with the conclusion that you can then follow to find more information that reinforces what you already know about it, that's exactly science. Now, of course, if you compare the things and then come to the conclusion that's not really based on them, but is more about what you want those things to show, and when you follow that, it leads you to something that reinforces nothing but that presupposed conclusion, well, that isn't science. So I can only assume when you say that the science part isn't the proof, that's because none of it is.
You see, there is a scientific explanation.
Of course there fucking is. Nobody would be denying that fact. What are you talking about? And apparently it doesn't matter anyway, according to you. So if it doesn't matter, then why even bring it up? I'm so confused right now.
The seal has a ton of neurological sensors in its whiskers.
Okay, that sounds reasonable. I know many animals have very sensitive face hairs that do all sorts of jobs. It's why they will push them toward whatever they're interacting with. It's an ability that I'm somewhat jealous of, actually. Imagine the experience I could get out of my whiskey if I had very sensitive whiskers. But instead, I just end up making my beard wet and delicious.
And I'm just going to make up some figures here. I'm recalling off the top of my head. Maybe it's right.
Dude, forgive me for being presumptuous, but I need to make a suggestion here. Why don't you not do that? I mean, pause the video, or don't, but just pull out your phone, or your laptop, or hell, trudge off to your office computer, or whatever, but actually find this shit and write it down. And then cut out any dead air in an edit, and then it's fixed. It's fine. And, I mean, you are trying, and more than likely failing, to prove that God is real. That's a hell of a task, and it would behoove you to get every detail correct, lest people point out all the things you got wrong, undermining your main point. Not that your point was ever going to be good, but it would be nice if you actually tried.
But about 150,000 sensors to what the cat's 2,000 sensors?
Take that, cats, you useless little bastards. Having an amount of sensors necessary to your survival and appropriate to the environment that you evolved in, that means that in that same environment, which would probably be far scarcer in large bodies of water, the seals would easily out-survive you. Because that's how survival of the fittest works. The one with a single superior trait wins 100% of the time. Because science. Why do you think there's so many lions in the ocean?
That's what I remember in the article. So,
I don't want to know what you think you can remember. It would be cool if you actually referenced the article. I mean, that's what I try to do when I'm referencing something. I try at the very least to show a screenshotted quote so that people can see what was, actually fucking said, and that I'm not simply pulling facts and figures out of my ass. Although I'm not perfect at it by any stretch, but if for a moment I'm not sure that I know something, then I fucking check. I know that the number probably doesn't matter that much, but it's the principle of the thing, and shows your unwillingness to be as accurate as you could be, and that's not good.
It can be explained why the seal can jump into the water and sense where a fish was 35 seconds back, because why the water is still turbulent.
I mean, the way that they do it would be quite interesting. If I knew you were referencing some kind of study, I might even think you were accurately stating it, but for some reason, you don't want to do that. So...
And the seal's micro receptors can still sense which direction the fish swam and chased after it.
Very odd that you so strongly emphasize the micro gubbins. Do you think them being small somehow am more prove the god? Because I don't think it does. I mean, so many things in nature are teeny tiny, but just because small doesn't have anything to do with any supernatural forces at the very least. With any sort of necessity, because, they don't need to be.
But that's not the miracle part. The miracle part is that
Miracle part? I didn't think that miracles had anything to do with this. Mostly because, right, miracles are nonsense. You say the word miracle to me, and I think you either mean thing that absolutely did not happen, or thing that I don't know how to explain because I'm either ignorant or have deliberately excluded the information that would explain it from my worldview. AKA willfully ignorant.
you couldn't do that.
It's a miracle because I can't do that. I mean, for one, how do you know that I can't do that? I have many abilities. Some would call unnatural. And second, well, if it's because you think me am the humans, well, no shit. Humans and seals are not the same fucking animal. Of all the observations I have ever heard an apologist make that ends up with therefore God, that has got to be one of the dumbest I have heard all minute. Sorry, I checked Twittex before writing this bit, and that place is a shit show. I think that's why I kind of like it.
You could not jump into the water blindfolded like they had the seal doing, jump into the water and chase after the fish because you don't possess those receptors.
Congratulations, you said something accurate. Now we watch as he completely explodes any goodwill that he might have been given by saying something really, really silly as a follow-up.
Now I know some of you are like, what are you, like you're an idiot, comparing apples to oranges, humans to seals. But let's think about something for a second.
Oh my God, please do. I beg you actually think about something. Anything. And not just for 1 second. Think about it for minutes. Hours even. Give it a long, hard think. And not this, the idea is in my head. Is it a good idea? Probably. Let's go on the internet and shit the idea out for the world to, mock. Seriously, I know it's my job to make fun of people who say wrong things, but the toll it takes on me sometimes, you don't know the second-hand embarrassment I have experienced in my life. So much. It's actually kind of painful.
I'm going to jump to your side of the fence, and we're going to come from a biological angle.
I'll be honest, mate, I don't think that's what's going to happen. In fact, I think what you're actually going to do is pretend to steel man what my argument would be, but actually just straw man the shit out of it, because you have no idea what any of this shit actually means, let alone what my particular opinions of any of it are.
From the evolutionary tree, and we're just going to jump to that side and just be, all rational about this, right?
Translation, I'm going to jump nowhere and argue no one's point and be all wrong about everything that I say, to the point where even people who don't know what's going on are going to suspect something is up here, mostly my blood pressure.
So, you're an animal, and the seal is an animal, and, we've kind of developed, and you're like, well, we might not be in the same exact brand. Yeah, but
fucking nothing. You brought up comparing apples and oranges earlier, dismissively might I add. But what you are doing is far worse. It's comparing apples and fucking leeks. Cause sure, they're both food, but you stick leeks in what is supposed to be an apple pie, and I'm gonna fucking notice you screwed up real goddamn hard. Cause they just aren't remotely the same thing, culinarily speaking, and don't fill the same niche even remotely.
The point being is that...
Don't pretend you have a point. You just wanted to ramble inanely until someone accidentally agreed with you because they weren't paying attention. Go on, be honest.
Animals, or humans, all don't develop equally and all don't have the same capacities or abilities now, do they?
No, they don't. We already knew that. How is that a point? And while humans are animals, not all animals are humans. In fact, animals are all so varied and different from one another. We do this clever thing where we call them different things because, right, they're different. Look, I know this is going to be obvious to literally everyone else, but I am unconvinced that he even knows that basic fact. So, gotta make sure that the kids at the back of the class are keeping up, eh?
You see, not every human grasped the same intellectual concepts.
True.
So we know there is some sensation there that, or some ideas there, or some kind of power there that some humans have that others do not.
Some people are smarter than others, okay, but that's something like with everything else that we can measure, at least to certain degrees, and it becomes pretty obvious certain people's ability to grasp things from, I don't know, say how they make YouTube videos where they fail to grasp basic concepts like that humans aren't the same as fucking seals.
We also know that humans don't have the same emotional quotients.
Well, I am hoping that by quotient you mean a degree or amount of a specified quality or characteristic, and not a result obtained by dividing one quantity by another, because that would be confusing. But let's assume the better of him. I don't know why I keep doing it, but hey ho. Yeah, no, all people certainly do not have the same emotional characteristic. It's pretty much what we would call personalities, at least if we want to simplify things. Still, I don't know how that would then equal therefore God though, because we have had so many of them so far and none of them have made any sense whatsoever. That's my personality trait of being fucking infuriated with you.
They don't grasp the same feelings of others and the same vibes of others, etc. We also know that human beings don't have the same micro transmitters or whatever in their hands. I don't know what controls the micro functions of the hand, but
yep, some people don't vibe with others. This is expected from a species that evolved, and the same for all sorts of various attributes from person to person, all fully within the realms of expectation. Also, he's chatting shit about micro whatevers again and again. Things can be small without needing to invoke a god, just like my pee.
Your music and extreme artist performance, who are the world's greatest, they have more control of their hands than the average person.
Yeah, I think that's why they get laid a lot. You know, skillful fingers can be very handy when dealing with any and all kinds of lovers, because, you know, they'll be able to beat them at thumb wars and thus assert their dominance. It's a real turn on.
This is noted in the Watchmaker as well.
The Watchmaker? What, the argument? Or is this another Watchmaker thing to do with Bible boys that I'm not aware of? God, I hope it's neither.
Or the gamer, the first-person shooter gamer that's the best in the world, he's going to have more neurons in his hands. And if that's not enough for you...
I mean, first-person shooters are fine and all, but they aren't, like, the only thing that you can be real good at. Personally, I have been playing a lot of a first-person kicker recently. It's called Kick Bastards, and it's amazing. And while I am currently decently high on the old leaderboards because there's just not that many players, I hope that mentioning it here and showing it will fix that, as you lot sweep me off the 10s to 30 spots, because it deserves some love.
What about the taste buds? There are some people that are super tasters. That's about 25% of the culture.
25% of the culture? What culture? Your culture? Are there cultures with more super tasters and some with less? And did you actually mean population because you're just so fucking bad at words?
That they have sensors that the rest of us don't have that are superior.
Well, we will know who that is from this audience by all those who play and best me again at Kickbastards. Not sponsored, by the way. I just have a platform, and if I'm going to use it to promote things, it's going to be for my own, well, detriment. Because again, technically, I'm pretty good at it for now.
Some of you know where I'm going with this.
I wish I fucking did.
Are there God sensors? Now see, right now when I told you about that testability portion of whether God exists or not, some of you have had the God sensors go off.
Holy shit, that's what you think is proof of God? Where to fucking start with this travesty? Okay, just know, if God's sensors were even a sensor remotely comparable to everything else that you have mentioned, we would have been able to build a machine that could do the same or similar, or possibly even better. But ignoring that, the fact that you think that this is testable when you don't even know that you are in fact detecting any god of any sort because we can't find them, god detectors will go off for people with the wrong god all the time. Because what you call god detectors, if my atheist ass is right, are just feelings that people get without any actual input. Because God doesn't fucking exist. You just think he does.
You've experienced that twinge that, oh, this guy is right. But let's turn that off. It's not that God doesn't exist or that your sensors aren't working. These nano sensors, these micro sensors that scream and give you some realization that God does exist, we have been ignoring those.
So it's not even that some people don't have them, it's that everybody has them at full power. They're just bad people who hate God or something. Isn't it? 'Cause that's what it always is. Because you people can never have a new point to save your fucking lives. I am not ignoring my God detector. My God detector is detecting nothing. Not only because I don't fucking have one, but because there's nothing to detect. 0 out of 3. See me after class.
Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. Nope, wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs. Six's channel Spoonstaff Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos, and she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was gonna tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch the